Instant reactions come from ego, not wisdom. This one line, if we deeply reflect upon it, has the power to change our relationships, our peace of mind, and even the direction of our life. Most of the time, when someone says something hurtful, our natural tendency is to hit back immediately. It is almost like a reflex action. Someone throws a stone, and we instantly feel like throwing a bigger stone back. But what we don't realize is this instant reaction comes from a place of ego, not from a place of understanding or wisdom. Ego wants to prove itself right. Ego wants to show its power. Ego wants to make the other person feel small. But wisdom is different. Wisdom is patient. Wisdom is observant. Wisdom doesn't rush. Wisdom knows that sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Sometimes a smile is more powerful than a scream. And sometimes walking away is better than fighting back. Think about daily life situations. Imagine you are in traffic and someone cuts across your car recklessly. Instantly your ego says, "How dare he? Let me honk, let me shout, let me show him who I am." But wisdom whispers, "If I react, I may ruin my mood, maybe even risk an accident. But if I remain calm, the incident will pass and I can continue peacefully." Now the choice is yours. Ego makes you restless. Wisdom makes you peaceful. Or take another example. At home, maybe your child or spouse says something harsh in the heat of the moment. If you react instantly, you may shout louder, you may add fuel to the fire, and the entire atmosphere of the house turns toxic. But if you pause, if you breathe, and if you let that one sharp arrow of words pass by without returning it, you save not just the argument but also the harmony of the home. Ego pushes you to prove your point, but wisdom helps you protect your peace, which is more valuable in the long run, winning an argument or saving a relationship. In professional life too, this plays out. Imagine your boss scolds you unfairly in front of colleagues. Ego instantly says, "Answer back, don't let yourself be humiliated." But wisdom says, "This is not the time or place. Stay quiet now and speak later with respect and clarity. You will earn dignity, not damage." Many people lose great opportunities because they react instantly, while those who pause, who respond thoughtfully, go much further in life. Instant reactions are like firecrackers. They create noise, sparks, and sometimes even burns. Wisdom, on the other hand, is like a lamp. It glows steadily, gives light, and spreads warmth without noise. If we look at great leaders, saints, or even people we admire in daily life, we see a common quality: they don't rush to react. They take their time, they let emotions settle, and then they respond in a way that elevates the situation rather than bringing it down. Why does ego react instantly? Because ego feels fragile. It feels threatened when someone criticizes or insults us. It screams, "Defend yourself! Attack back!" But wisdom knows the truth. A person's words reflect their own state of mind, not our worth. If someone is angry, frustrated, or insecure, their words come from that place. Why should we allow their inner storm to disturb our inner peace? By reacting instantly, we are letting them control us. But when we choose wisdom, we take back the remote control of our emotions. Imagine holding a cup of coffee. If someone bumps into you, what spills out? Coffee, of course. Why? Because that's what was inside. In the same way, when life bumps into us through challenges or hurtful words, what spills out, anger or calmness, depends on what we have filled ourselves with. If we fill ourselves with ego, instant reactions will always be bitter. If we fill ourselves with wisdom, our responses will be sweet and thoughtful. Think about your own experiences. How many times have you reacted instantly and regretted it later? Maybe you sent a harsh text in anger and later wished you hadn't. Maybe you shouted at a loved one and later felt guilty. But how many times have you paused, stayed silent, and later felt grateful that you didn't react? That pause is the difference between ego and wisdom. Life gives us choices every day. Every time someone hurts us, we stand at a crossroad. One path is ego, instant reaction, anger, proving yourself right. The other path is wisdom, pause, patience, peace. One leads to regret, the other to respect. The choice may feel small in the moment, but its impact is huge. A single harsh word can break years of trust, while a single moment of silence can save years of love. So the next time someone says something hurtful, remember this line: instant reactions come from ego, not wisdom. Before reacting, ask yourself, is it my ego speaking or is it my wisdom guiding? If it is ego, pause. If it is wisdom, respond. And if no response is needed, choose silence. Because silence is not weakness. It is a sign of strength, self-control, and maturity. The true power of a human being is not in how loudly they can shout, but in how calmly they can respond. And the one who masters this art will always live with dignity, respect, and peace of mind. Pausing allows emotions to settle before responding. This one principle, if practiced daily, can save us from countless regrets and bring immense peace into our lives. The problem with human nature is that when emotions are high, intelligence becomes low. Think about it. When we are angry, frustrated, or hurt, our judgment is clouded. We cannot think clearly, we cannot measure the weight of our words, and we often end up saying things that hurt others or harm ourselves. That is why pausing is not a weakness, it is a strength. It is not about running away from a situation, but about giving our emotions time to calm down so that our response comes from clarity, not chaos. Take the example of boiling milk on the stove. If you touch it at the peak of boiling, it will burn you instantly. But if you let it cool down for a while, you can drink it peacefully, and it even nourishes you. Our emotions work in the same way. When someone hurts us, anger or sadness comes to a boil. If we react in that heated moment, our words burn others and burn ourselves. But if we wait, if we pause, those emotions settle, and whatever comes out of us later is balanced, thoughtful, and nourishing for the relationship. Imagine a husband and wife in a small argument. The wife says something harsh in the heat of the moment. If the husband reacts instantly, raising his voice, the argument escalates. Soon it is no longer about one comment, but about 10 other complaints, and the whole evening is ruined. But if the husband pauses, breathes, and doesn't answer back immediately, the wife too calms down after a while. Later, when emotions have settled, they can talk about the issue peacefully. The pause saved the evening, the relationship, and perhaps even the love. This applies at the workplace too. Suppose your colleague blames you for a mistake you didn't make. Your first reaction might be to shout, defend, or accuse them back. But that instant reaction can damage your reputation. If instead you pause, let the initial anger pass, and then respond calmly with facts, you appear professional, composed, and mature. People respect those who remain steady when others lose control. The pause becomes your strength, your silent armor. Even in friendships, this principle matters. Sometimes a friend might forget your birthday, cancel plans last minute, or say something that feels insensitive. If you react instantly, saying, "You never care about me," you risk pushing them away. But if you pause, you realize later that they may have been busy, stressed, or simply careless without bad intention. By waiting, you save the friendship from unnecessary damage. The pause gives room for understanding, for compassion to enter. Psychologists say that emotions are like waves. They rise, they peak, and then they fall. No emotion, however intense, lasts forever. Anger feels permanent when it arrives, but within minutes or hours it softens. Sadness too fades with time. But if we react at the peak of that wave, we often regret it when the wave has passed. Pausing is simply waiting for the wave to settle before we act. It is like a surfer who doesn't jump into the ocean at the wrong moment, but waits for the right wave to ride. Think of a glass of muddy water. If you shake it, it becomes cloudy and you can't see through it. But if you leave it still for a while, the mud settles and the water becomes clear. Our mind works exactly the same way. When emotions shake us, our mind is muddy, unclear, confused. Pausing is letting the mud settle so we can see clearly. And only when we see clearly can we make the right decision. History and scriptures are filled with examples of those who paused and chose wisely. When Draupadi was insulted in the Mahabharata, her instant reaction was to demand vengeance. But Krishna reminded her that timing and patience are essential. In modern life too, successful leaders are those who don't jump to conclusions but wait, analyze, and then act. The pause between stimulus and response is the place where wisdom lives. In our daily life, we can practice this by simple steps. When someone says something hurtful, instead of replying instantly, take a deep breath. Count to 5 in your mind. If the situation is very heated, walk away for a few minutes. Drink some water. Journal your feelings before confronting the person. These tiny pauses can prevent big explosions. Over time, it becomes a habit, and people will admire your composure, your calmness, your maturity. It is said that words are like arrows. Once they leave the bow, they cannot be taken back. How many relationships have been destroyed because of words spoken in anger? How many careers have been ruined by emails or messages sent without thinking? A single pause could have saved them all. That pause is not wasted time. It is an investment in peace, in clarity, in future happiness. So the next time emotions rise, remind yourself, I will not react instantly. I will pause. I will let the emotions settle. This pause does not mean weakness, it means wisdom. It does not mean silence forever. It means silence for a while until clarity returns. And when clarity returns, your response will not just solve the problem, it will also uplift the people around you. Pausing is like pressing the reset button. It gives you control back over your mind. It allows wisdom to speak louder than ego. And the one who masters this pause becomes unshakable, peaceful, and truly powerful. Humor can dissolve tension better than anger. This simple truth has the ability to transform not just heated arguments, but even the way we live our lives. Whenever someone hurts us, our first instinct is usually to either withdraw in sadness or to explode in anger. But what if Instead of carrying the heavy burden of negativity, we chose the lighter path of humor. Humor is like sunshine breaking through the dark clouds of conflict. It disarms the other person, softens the situation, and reminds us that life is too short to waste on unnecessary battles. Imagine you are in heavy traffic, someone cuts you off, honks loudly, and even rolls down their window to shout at you. The normal reaction is anger, shout back, curse, or honk even louder. But what if, instead, you smile and say to yourself, maybe he is rushing to the bathroom? Poor guy. Immediately, the frustration inside you turns into a chuckle. Instead of spending the rest of your drive fuming, you move forward lightheartedly. Humor has dissolved the tension, not only between you and that driver, but also within yourself. Or picture a husband and wife having a heated conversation. The wife complains, "You never listen to me." The husband could react defensively, arguing back and raising his voice. But if he says with a playful smile, "Of course I listen. I even have a playlist in my mind called My Wife's Greatest Hits," she might laugh, the mood will soften, and the argument will lose its sharpness. Humor here doesn't deny the issue, but it creates a softer ground where real communication can happen. In professional life too, humor works wonders. Suppose a boss scolds an employee in a team meeting, saying, "Your report was late again." If the employee reacts angrily, it will damage the relationship. But if he calmly replies, "Sir, I was just making sure the report aged like fine wine before delivery," everyone laughs, the tension breaks, and even the boss might smile. The issue can then be resolved without bitterness. Humor creates bridges where anger builds walls. Even in friendships, humor can be the glue that keeps bonds strong. Sometimes friends tease each other. Sometimes they forget to show up. Sometimes they make mistakes. If we respond with irritation every time, the friendship will crack. But a light-hearted joke, a playful comment, or a funny story can transform awkward moments into shared laughter. Instead of pulling people apart, humor pulls them closer. The power of humor lies in its ability to change perspective. When someone insults us, we usually take it personally, like an arrow piercing the heart. But humor allows us to step aside and see the arrow as a feather. Imagine someone calls you lazy. Instead of fighting back, you could smile and say, "Yes, I'm on an energy saving mode, just like my phone." Immediately, the power of the insult vanishes. The other person might even laugh, and the negativity disappears. Life itself gives us many opportunities to choose humor over anger. When something goes wrong at home, a glass falls and breaks, the power goes out, the food gets burned, we can either scream and create stress, or we can laugh and say, "Well, today we're practicing candlelight dining." How romantic! That small shift changes the energy of the whole household. Children especially learn from this. They see that problems can be faced with a smile, not just with complaints. Even in spiritual traditions, humor has been a subtle but powerful tool. Many great saints and teachers used humor to teach deep truths. They knew that when people laugh, their hearts open and wisdom flows more easily. Anger closes the heart, but humor opens it wide. But one important thing to remember is that humor should never be used to mock or humiliate. The beauty of humor lies in making everyone feel lighter, not in making someone feel smaller. When humor uplifts, it becomes medicine. When it belittles, it becomes poison. True humor is inclusive, healing, and kind. Think about times when you were angry with someone. Did the anger solve anything? Most likely, it only created more distance. Now, think about times when you laughed with someone even in the middle of a problem. Didn't it bring you closer? Humor doesn't erase difficulties, but it makes them easier to face. It turns storms into showers and burdens into balloons. Humor also protects our health. Medical research shows that laughter reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and releases endorphins, the feel-good hormones. When we laugh, our body relaxes, our mind becomes clear, and our spirit feels lighter. Anger does the opposite. It increases stress, raises blood pressure, and clouds the mind. So choosing humor over anger is not only good for relationships, it is also a gift to our own body and mind. So the next time someone hurts you, pause and ask yourself, can I respond with humor instead of anger? You will notice that a witty, gentle, playful response can dissolve the sharpness of any situation. It is like adding sugar to lemon water. It turns soreness into sweetness. And even if you don't say anything out loud, even if you just laugh in your own mind, you save yourself from drowning in negativity. Humor is not about ignoring problems, but about facing them with lightness. It is about refusing to let anger control you and instead allowing laughter to guide you. When you carry humor in your heart, you carry sunshine wherever you go. People will be drawn to your presence because you will make them feel at ease, lighter, happier. And that truly is the power of humor. It can dissolve tension better than anger, transform conflicts into connections, and turn life's hardest moments into opportunities for laughter. Don't give people control over your emotions. This one principle can liberate us from endless stress, unnecessary fights, and even silent suffering. Too often in life, we hand over the remote control of our happiness to others. If they press the anger button, we explode. If they press the sadness button, we collapse. If they press the praise button, we are elated. But if they press the criticism button, we are shattered. The truth is, as long as other people control our emotions, we will never experience true peace. The real strength of life is when you take that remote control back into your own hands. Think about how many times your entire mood was spoiled by one rude comment. Someone at work criticizes you unfairly, and the whole day feels ruined. A stranger in traffic insults you, and you carry that anger all the way home. One negative person holds your happiness hostage only because you gave them the power to control how you feel. But the deeper reality is, nobody can make us angry, nobody can make us sad, unless we allow them to. It is not their words, but our response that decides our peace. Imagine you are carrying a glass of pure water. If someone shakes your hand, only the water inside spills. If it was clean water will spill. If it was muddy, mud will spill. Life is the same. When people shake us with insults, criticism, or rudeness, what spills out depends on what we have inside. If we are filled with insecurity, anger spills out. If we are filled with peace, calmness spills out. Taking control of our emotions means filling ourselves with wisdom, not allowing the outside shake to dictate what comes out. Take an everyday example. You are at the market and the shopkeeper is rude. If you argue back, the incident stays with you all day, poisoning your mind. But if you smile, finish your purchase, and walk away, you remain peaceful. The shopkeeper's rudeness belonged to him, not to you. By refusing to hand over the remote control of your emotions, you save your peace. In relationships too, this principle is vital. A spouse may speak in frustration after a long day. If you take their words personally, anger rises and an argument follows. But if you realize their frustration is about their day, not about you, you don't give away your emotions. You respond with understanding, not anger. The evening is saved because you chose to keep the remote in your hands. At the workplace, this plays out every day. A boss may shout, a colleague may gossip, a client may complain. If you let every voice control you, you will be like a puppet dancing on other people's strings. But if you choose calmness, professionalism, and dignity, you rise above. People admire those who stay composed when others lose control. That composure comes from not giving away your emotions cheaply. There is a famous story of Buddha. Once a man insulted him badly in front of others. Buddha remained calm and silent. The man, frustrated, asked, "Why are you not angry?" Buddha replied, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man answered, "It still belongs to the giver." Buddha smiled and said, "Exactly. Your insults belong to you, not to me, because I chose not to accept them." This is the art of not giving away control. When you don't accept negativity, it remains with the person who threw it. Life becomes beautiful when you master this. Someone can insult you, but you choose dignity. Someone can provoke you, but you choose peace. Someone can mock you, but you choose silence. This doesn't mean you are weak. It means you are wise. Weak people react instantly because they have no control over themselves. Strong people remain calm because they refuse to let others pull their strings. Think about technology. If you gave your phone to everyone around you, anyone could open it, delete your photos, or send messages in your name. Would you allow that? Of course not. Then why do we allow people to tamper with our emotions so easily? Protecting your emotional password is as important as protecting your phone's password. Only you should decide what you feel, not the random moods of others. This also doesn't mean ignoring or suppressing emotions. It means processing them wisely. If someone hurts you, it's natural to feel pain. But instead of instantly reacting, you pause, you reflect, and then you decide whether a response is even necessary. Most times, silence is enough. Other times, a calm discussion is enough. But anger, shouting, and instant reaction only mean you handed over the remote control to them. When you take responsibility for your emotions, life becomes lighter. You realize that your peace does not depend on how others behave, but on how you choose to respond. Someone can pour poison into your ears, but you can still choose not to drink it. Someone can light a fire outside, but you can still keep your inner home cool. This choice is your greatest power. So, the next time someone tries to hurt you, remind yourself, I am the master of my emotions, not them. Take back the remote control. Refuse to let others decide your mood. If they are angry, let them keep their anger. If they are rude, let them keep their rudeness. If they are bitter, let them carry their bitterness. You, on the other hand, choose peace, choose calmness, choose joy, because at the end of the day, true freedom is not just political or financial, it is emotional. And you will only be truly free when you stop giving people control over your emotions.